Hello everyone, my name is Partho Das, Assistant Professor, Department of Electrical Engineering, JIS College of Engineering, West Bengal, India. So, welcome to my class. So, today we are going to discuss about the voltage regulation of alternator. So, as you can see, the topic is the determination of voltage regulation of the synchronous generator. So, in case of alternator, there are different methods by which we can find out the voltage regulation of alternator. So, what are the different methods we have? So that thing we are going to discuss, and there are some mathematical procedure to solve those things, and what are the expression for those things. So that thing we are going to do today. Okay, so let us start. Yes, these are the constant contents for today. Definition of the voltage regulation, methods of determining the voltage regulation. So in the methods of determining the voltage regulation, we have the three methods as per the syllabus is concerned. Those are the synchronous impedance method, MMF method, zero power factor method. So one by one we are going to discuss today. So everything will be explained in this particular presentation. So let us start. Yes, what is voltage regulation? So a convenient way to compare the voltage behavior of two generators is by their voltage regulation. The VR of a voltage synchronous generator at a given load, power factor and at a rated speed is defined by the voltage regulation is equal to the no load voltage minus full load voltage by full load voltage into 100%. So that means basically we can say that when so it is an alternator. So alternator means synchronous generator which is generating electrical energy. So electrical energy means at the terminal or the output it is giving electrical energy. So there we can connect some load, right? So so two things may happen that once the alternator is running without load, that is at no load, and once may happen that the alternator is connected with the fully loaded the alternator is. So when load is not connected, so whatever EMF is induced that is coming to the terminal, but when load is connected, so at that time what will happen? So there will be some voltage drop. So whatever EMF is generated, that not we are getting at the terminal. So there is a difference between the generated the no load voltage and the full load voltage. So that difference by the full load voltage, and that ratio is known as the voltage regulation. Okay, so that thing is the voltage regulation, and how we can find out that voltage regulation, that is topic that is the presentation for today. So let us let us coming to the methods. Okay, voltage reaction by synchronous impedance method, that is the first method that we are going to do today. To now what is let us see what is written over here. To find the voltage regulation, following data are required: resistance of the armature or stator winding per phase, open circuit test, and the and short circuit test we will do to find out the open circuit characteristics and short circuit characteristics. So in general, this resistance of the armature is finded out by DC resistance test, and then there are two setups. And the one is open circuit test, known as open circuit test, and short circuit test. So from there, so DC resistance test, open circuit test, and short circuit test. After doing those three experiments, we can find out the resistance of the armature, open circuit characteristics, and short circuit characteristics. And from there, we can find out the what is the voltage regulation of a particular alternator. Okay. Yes, resistance of armature. The resistance of armature or stator winding per phase can be determined by using voltmeter ammeter method or by using Wheatstone bridge. Now what is happening, that means basically this is voltage ammeter method. What is voltage ammeter method? That means with some circuit, if we have a circuit, very simple, giving you an example. Say there is a circuit, and in that circuit we are giving some DC supply, and due to that some current is flowing. Now you have to find out the what is the resistance value over there. how what we will do, we will just apply the Ohm's law, that is V is equal to IR, so R is equal to V by I. So from there we can find out the resistance of the particular circuit. So that method can be applied. So here the DC supply will be given to the alternator armature, and then we will find out what is the voltage, what is the current, and from there we can find out from the voltmeter reading and ammeter reading, we can find out the resistance of that particular circuit, particular alternator, sorry. So again we can, there is a Wheatstone bridge, we know in measurement we have studied this one. So from the Wheatstone bridge we can find out also the unknown resistance of the alternator. Okay, so why we do this? The effect of stator winding resistance is always greater than DC value of the skin effect. That means in alternator AC energy is generated, AC electricity is generated. So what is happening, that happening is that due to the skin effect, we know in when through a conductor AC current is flowing, there is a effect of skin effect is happening. So due to that skin effect, uh, the effective resistance working in the armature of alternator is increased. So if we consider that resistance, so that will be a faultier one. So that's why from the DC resistance test or the voltmeter ammeter test, or the Wheatstone bridge test, for using those different tests, we can find out the effective resistance of the armature coil per phase. Okay, AC resistance taken approximately, see the last point. So the AC resistance may be taken approximately 1.2 to 1.3 times of the DC resistance measured. Okay, so first, so what are the steps? Three steps we have seen over here. So first, using the voltmeter ammeter method or Wheatstone bridge method, we can find out the resistance. And if we want to find out the AC resistance, that is known as the effective resistance, so then we have to, whatever value we get with that, find out, multiply 1.2 to 1.3, any value, and you can find out approximately what is the AC resistance of that particular armature coil per phase. Yes, open circuit test. So now let us see what is open circuit test. The generator is turned at the rated speed. The terminals are disconnected from all loads and the field current is set to 0. Then the field current is gradually increased in steps and terminal voltage is measured at each step along the way. It is thus possible to obtain an open circuit characteristics of a generator from this. That means what? The see below the see the below picture. So what we have, what very simple diagram. So first try to identify the diagram. I am telling this, explaining you the diagram, then it is very easier to understand what is open circuit test. So in alternator, what we have a rotating field and we have a stationary armature winding. Okay, so we are considering that this is the field, follow my pointer, this is the field and this is the armature winding. This is the field and this is the armature winding, correct? Now if we supply DC source as we for the generation of magnetic field, so then there is a flux generation. So this flux will be cutted by this armature conductors over the stator, and these are the terminals of the three-phase terminals of the alternator. Okay, and those alternate terminals are kept open, no load is connected, and just a voltmeter is connected to find out what is the terminal voltage. So this circuit is for the open circuit test. So that means in open circuit test, at the terminal, electrical output terminal, there is no load is connected to the system. Okay, so as you can see, the left hand side diagram is the field coil and right hand side diagram is the armature coil. This field coil is excited by DC source connected to the field coil. That DC source is connected to the field coil through a rheostat, so that we can set up the rated field, and so that we can run the alternator at a constant or rated speed. Okay, and the secondary side, that means in the stationary armature section, there is no load is connected, only flux cutting will be there, and due to that there are some EMF generation. Okay, and we can find out that when we are changing from now, this is the, follow my pointer, this is the field current. Now if we change this field rheostat, then what will happen? Sorry, so if we change this field rheostat, so what will happen? This current is going to be changed. So when this field current is going to be changed, so at that time the flux will going to be changed, and if this flux is going to be changed, so there the flux cutting value will be changed. And from the Faraday's law we know that E is equal to minus n d phi by dt. So EMF value, whatever EMF is generated, that value is changing. So gradually by changing in steps, so we can find out, what is the terminal voltages appearing without any kind of flow. So this is basically the open circuit characteristics. So coming to the next, short circuit characteristics. Yes, so first see what is written, then I am going to explain in the diagram what is there. So adjust the field current to 0, again in the previous case whatever we have done. So here also you have to do, and short circuit the terminals of the generator through a set of armatures. Record the armature current ISC, that is SC for short circuit, as the field current is increased. Such a plot is called short circuit characteristics. So what is there, which is still told the same diagram, left hand section, left hand side diagram is for the field winding and right hand side diagram is for the armature winding. So with the field winding, a supply, DC supply is given, and due to that a field will be generated, and we are maintaining a minimum field current initially, then we are going to increase step by step the increasing the field current value, and after that the flux is cutted by the winding, and then there will be, at the terminal there will be a EMF generation. So now, as the name suggested, that is a short circuit test, so the terminal will be shorted. So as you can see, this terminal, follow my pointer, the armature winding three-phase terminal are shorted by an ammeter. So when shorted means there is a closed loop, so current obviously flows. So with the change in the field current value, with the increasing field current value, obviously flux cutting will be increased. When the flux cutting is increasing, the EMF generation is increasing. When the EMF generation is increasing, the current flowing through the short circuit path will be increased. So we will note it down, and we can plot that one in a graph paper, and that characteristic actually is known as the short circuit characteristics. Okay, so coming to the next, determination of the reactance. For a particular field current IFA, the terminal voltage EF could be found from the OCC, and the short circuit current flow ISC could be found from the SSC and from the SCC. So now coming to this particular graph. So here see this, follow my pointer, this particular graph is representing the OCC, that is a short circuit open circuit characteristics, and below this one is representing, the straight line is representing the SCC, that is the short circuit characteristics. Okay, now for a particular value of field current, we can find out the current value. At the same time we can find out the terminal voltage of the SSC. See now we can consider that like that way, that we here in the particular, follow my pointer, in this particular graph we have taken two field current value, one is IFA and is one IFB. So at the when the field current value is IFA, so at that time what is the short circuit current? This value is the short circuit current. Okay, so and that is represented by this one. And what is the voltage? That is VA. This is the voltage. That means at the same field current, what is the current value and what is the voltage value, that we can find out. The same way, when IFB we are considering, at that time when the field current is equal to the IFB, at that time what is the short circuit current? That is this value ISC for B, and at that time what is the voltage value? That one, that is the rated. Okay, so like this way we can find it from the values of for a particular value of field current, what is the terminal voltage, what is the short circuit current, that we can find out. And if we know that, from that if we divide that two, we can find out that is the, what we can say, that is the impedance of the circuit. Okay, so how we can find out the impedance of the circuit? See, follow my pointer, that is Z. Okay, so Z formula is given by this VA by ICA. This is the VA and this is the IFA. Okay, not IFA, corresponding to that ISCA. So this is the voltage, and this is the open circuit voltage, and this is the short circuit current. If we divide that two, we can find out the impedance at that time. Again, the same phenomenon can be occurred if we consider that voltage, V rated voltage, divided by this ISC current. Then also we can find out the impedance. Okay, so like this way we can find out the impedance, and from the DC resistance test we have find out the resistance. So now we know the Z, and now we know the R. So we have to determine this. See, at the top of this particular slide is, that is, we have to find out the X. So we know that Z formula is given by under root R square plus X square. Now within that, Z is known by this formula, R is already known from the previous experiment. So we can find out this X is under root Z square minus R square. Okay, so this is like this way we can find out the X. Coming to next, so now we are going to solve a particular problem. Okay, so that you the whatever concept we have done, that will be very much clear to you. So what is there, what is told in the problem? 200 kVA 480 volt 60 hertz 4 pole Y connected synchronous generator with a rated field current of 5 ampere was tested. So that means the alternator specification is given, that is a 200 volt kVA 480 volt is the voltage, terminal voltage, 60 hertz is the frequency. It has a 4 pole, and that is the star connected or synchronous generator with a rated field current, or the field current, rated field current is 5 ampere, was tested, and the following data was taken. So from open circuit test, that means this is this 5 ampere, follow my pointer, this 5 ampere is the rated field current, and with respect to that rated field current, we have got from the OCC test some voltage, and from the short circuit test we have got some current value, short circuit current value. So from OC test terminal voltage, yes, there is 540 volt at rated field current, the rated field current is 5 ampere. From the SC test, line current is 300 ampere at that same rated field current. Okay, and from the DC resistance test, we have got DC voltage and okay, 10 volt is applied to the terminal, and the current is 25 ampere was measured. Okay, so calculate the speed of the rotation in RPM per minute, RPM we have to calculate, and calculate the generated EMF and saturate equivalent circuit parameters. Okay, these are the things you have to find it out. That means here the alternate specification is given, at the same time at a rated value of field current, what is the terminal voltage, what is the short circuit current, and also DC test voltage and current reading is also given. So from there we have to calculate everything. See, so these are the values given. So it is given that electrical frequency, that is 60 hertz is given. So that is, we know that if Fs is equal to, what is the formula, what is the formula is Pnm by 20, Fs is the 60. Now where the where the number of poles is 4, Nm is the mechanical speed of the rotation in rpm, speed of rotation is equal to 120 Fe by P. So Fe is given 60, P is given 4. From there directly we can find out the rpm. Ns is equal to 120 Fs by P. So from that formula we have find it out. Now from open circuit test, that EMF, well, from the open circuit test, we know that armature current is 0. Why? Because their terminals are open, so no current is flowing. So that's why it is written that is I is equal to 0, and whatever EMF is generated, that will appear to the terminal. Okay, so that's why it is written that EF is equal to VT, and and that value is given that EF is equal to 150 by 1.732. Why we have done this, but divided by 1 by 732? Because it is told that in the problem it is a star connected. So whatever, So per phase voltage, if we want to find out, so we have to convert that from line voltage to phase voltage. So from, we know that VL is equal to root 3 by root 3 into V phase. So V phase is equal to VL by root 3. So root 3 value is given by 1.732. So that's why this is the VL or EL, and divided by root 3, that is the value of root 3, and from there we can find out the per phase value. Okay. And in the short circuit test, terminals are shorted. So terminal shortage means there is no terminal voltage actually appearing. VT is equal to 0. Okay. Now EF is equal to IA into ZS. Now IA is given in the short circuit test. What is given? 300. Now EF is given, already you have calculated, that is 311.8. So what is Z? So Z is the EF by IA. So the EF is 311.8 divided by IA is 300, that is equal to 1.04 ohm. Okay. So from the DC test, very simple. RA is equal to VDC by 2IDC. Okay, so that's why it is 10 by 2 into 25, that is equal to 0.2 ohm. Okay, so from there, so the now we know that, so from there we know that here is the Z is 1.04 ohm, and the RA, the armature resistance, is find it out 0.2 ohm. So definitely we can find out the X, reactance of the system. So put the value, it will be 1.02. Okay. So coming to the next presentation, next so like the next method, that is the voltage regulation by MMF, magnetomotive force method. Okay, so let us first see what is written over here, then we are going for the uh, explanation. So this method is also called ampere turn method, that is MMF method, magnetomotive force method. Okay, this method is based on the results of open and short circuit test on an alternator. For an alternator, the field MMF is required to produce the normal voltage V on full load is the vector sum of the following. What are the that means for an alternator, the MMF is required to produce the normal voltage on the field winding is whatever voltage is produced, that is a vector sum of the some components. What are the components? Field MMF is required to produce the rated terminal voltage on no load. Okay, field MMF is required to neutralize the demagnetizing effect of armature reaction at full load. So these are the two things, and and the vector sum of this thing will give us the normal terminal voltage. Okay, so on short circuit condition, the MMF, the field MMF required to produce full load current balances the impedance drop and the armature reaction. Very important point. So once again I am discussing with you on short circuit condition, when the terminals are shorted. Okay, the field MMF required to produce the full load current, the field MMF required to produce the full load current balances the impedance drop and the armature reaction. But since this armature resistance and the armature reactance are very small due to short circuit, the impedance drop can be neglected. Hence, power factor on short circuit is almost zero, lagging, and the field MMF are used completely to overcome the demagnetizing effect of armature reaction. Okay, therefore the demagnetizing armature MMF on full load are equal and opposite to the field MMF required to produce full load current on short circuit. That means how we can neutralize this armature reaction effect, demagnetizing, cross magnetizing effect. So it is those points are discussed over here. Okay, so next, coming to the next. Now it is very important to identify that procedure to draw the phasor diagram for finding out the voltage regulation. So it's very important. So for field current required to produce rated terminal voltage V obtained from OCC, this is denoted by IF0, that is a field current. Field current required to circulate full load current obtained from SSC, this is denoted by IFA. If the alternator is supplying full load, then the MMF is the vector sum of IF0 and IFA. So two things are there. So one thing is the field current required to produce rated terminal voltage. Whatever field current is needed to generate such amount of flux, which is actually generating the what you can say, such a flux which is, by cutting those, the armature is producing the rated terminal voltage. And that field current is denoted by IF0. Field current required to circulate the full load current obtained from the OCC, that is denoted by IFA. That means once it is making as open circuit, at that time if we want to find out the rated voltage at the terminal, what is the field current value. At the same time, when we are doing the short circuit test, so at that time if we want the rated terminal rated short circuit current flowing through the armature, so what should be the flux field current should be given, so that that amount of current is producing the and the total MMF is a summation, a vector summation of that two components. Okay, so coming to the next. Yes, this is the thing. As we can see, this is the open circuit case field current, and this is the short circuit field current. So what is the resultant current? This one is the resultant current. Okay, so as we can see, this OA IF is the field current required to rated voltage on load. Okay, and AB is the IF is the field current required to circuit the full load current on short circuit. Okay, and so what is the vector sum of that two? So this is the resultant current is equal to IF 0 square plus IF square minus 2 IF 0 IFA cos IF 0 into IFA. So that is the formula. So by using that formula, we can find out what is the resultant current, field current is needed to set up those things at its rated voltage and current value. Now, for a leading power factor load, AB is equal to IFA is drawn at angle of 90 minus alpha, and for unity power factor load, AB, that is IFA, is drawn at right angle. See this one. So first see AB, this AB, follow the my pointer in the right hand side diagram. As we can see, this is the on load terminal voltage. If we want to if we want that rated terminal voltage, what is the field current, that is IF0 and IFA. It is not in that direction, it is drawn in this direction, so it is definitely, this is 90 and this angle is phi, so this is 90 minus phi, so resultant vector is in that direction. And at the unity power factor, that is here, see, it is the angle of 90 degree. Okay, so one is more than 90, one is at 90, one is the less than 90. So three cases we can draw. So previous one, whatever we have seen, that is in the case of lagging power factor, the in that particular diagram, the left hand side diagram is for the unity power factor and the right hand side diagram is the leading power factor. Okay, so these are the phasor. From there we can find out those things. So coming to the next method, that is a zero, or next or last method, that is the zero power factor method. So what is there? This method is based on the separation of armature leakage reactance drop and armature reaction effects. In this method, the armature leakage reactance XL is called Portier reactance. The following experiment data is required to determine the regulation by this method. Resistance of armature or stator winding per phase, open circuit characteristics, and zero power factor curve. So if we want to find out the voltage regulation in this zero power factor meter, the following experimental data we need. What are the data we need? Excuse me. Resistance of the armature or stator winding per phase, open circuit characteristic, that is no load curve, and the zero power factor curve. It is somehow two steps. First two steps are similar, somehow little bit similar to the impedance method. So let us see how to find out that. So zero power factor is the curve between the terminal voltage and excitation when the armature is delivering full load current at zero power factor while the machine is running at synchronous speed. Zero power factor full load curve can be obtained by loading the alternator with highly inductive load, and the field current corresponding to the full load armature current at zero power factor weighted voltage is noted. That means it is very important to find out this zero power factor curve, and this curve is drawn in between the terminal voltage and the excitation when the armature is delivering the full load current. And remember, we have to remember the power factor is at zero power factor, okay, and the machine have to run at synchronous speed. The field current corresponding to the rated current under short circuit test is noted down. So zero power factor armature current, that is not, we have to note down. Then field current corresponding to the rated current under short circuit, that we have to note it down. So coming to the next presentation. So in this case, the alternator is connected to a purely inductive load through the ammeter. Okay, so the speed of the alternator is maintained constant at synchronous value. The load current delivered by an alternator to purely inductive load is maintained constant at its rated full load value by varying excitation and adjusting variable inductance of the inductive load. Figure shows the circuit diagram for performing zero power factor full load test on three-phase alternator. Okay, so as we can see over there, so just follow my pointer. It is the whole diagram for this zero power factor method, where what we have done. This is the field of the alternator. It is excited by a DC source through a rheostat. Okay, and this is the alternator at the stationary section at the stator, and here ammeter voltmeter is connected to measure the current and voltage, and that terminals are connected to a three-phase variable purely inductive coil. Okay, so as the method is concerned, we have to do that purely inductive load we have to connect, and after that we have to note down the voltage and current value. Okay, so now after doing that, we have in open circuit test we can do that first initially the we have already done in impedance method, that is initially the field current is set at nearly zero, and then we are just increasing the field current value. With that, the terminals are open, that we are performing the open circuit test, and we will note down the terminal voltage, and from there between the field current and terminal voltage we can draw this diagram. See, follow my pointer. This is the field current, that is the terminal voltage per phase. So this will be the OCC, open circuit characteristics. And this below one is the important one, that is the zero full load curve, zero power factor full load curve. And this graph relating the terminal voltage and the field current when the armature is delivering full load current at zero power factor. Okay, so that curve is drawn over here. Yes, so first of all, draw the OCC. We can draw because already we have discussed about this, uh, and also draw the air gap line, a line which is tangent of OCC. So yes, this is the air gap line. In the previous diagram also we have seen that there is a air gap line tangent to the OCC curve. Now coming to the draw the field current OA corresponding to full load armature current on short circuit. Draw the field current OA corresponding to the full load armature current. Drawing the OA, that is the full load field current. So draw the field current OA corresponding to the full load armature current. So we will increase the field current up to which value? When the full load armature current is flowing. Okay, and in the short circuit test. So we will plot that. Point A is obtained from a short circuit test with full load armature current. Hence, OA represents the field current required to overcome the demagnetizing effect of the armature reaction and to balance the leakage reactance drop at full load. Okay, draw the field current if ZP at rated value which corresponding to the full load armature current at zero power factor, thus obtaining a point P on the ZPF full load curve. So let us see. Um, this is the rated voltage. From there if we draw, there will get a P point. Okay, so that is the zero power by obtaining a point P on the ZPF full load curve. This point P is the field current corresponding to the full load armature current, and zero power factor shows us the zero power factor full load characteristics of the alternator. From point P, Q is drawn equal to an end characteristics of the alternator. This QR is drawn parallel to the tangent. So let us check what is it is told over there. So this is PR, this is the PR line. Okay, so from there we will draw this line here, RQ. Okay, so like this way we can find out the ZDF curve, and from there we can find out the regulation. Okay, so this is the next, what is joint R to P. Now PQR is a triangle. In triangle, PQR is called the Portier triangle. So this PQR, very important, PQR, this triangle is a Portier triangle. This triangle is called the Portier triangle. Okay, this triangle is constant for a given armature current. Point P and P on the ZPF full load curve can be obtained by tracing the point Portier triangle as shown in the figure. Okay, draw RS perpendicular to PQ. It is very important to understand. Again coming, so I am drawing RS perpendicular over this, follow my pointer, QP line. RS, a tangent is drawn over this QP line. Okay, so yes, QP line, and this RS represent the armature leakage reactance drop. Okay, this PS gives the field current necessary to overcome the demagnetizing effect of armature. So first see this RS. Where is the RS? This RS represent the leakage reactance drop, and this PS gives field current necessary to overcome the demagnetizing. Where is the PS? Let us check. Where is the PS? This PS, yes, this PS. This RS is the leakage reactance drops, and this PS. What is PS? Again, see, PS gives the field current necessary to overcome the demagnetizing effect of armature reaction and full load. And this SQ for balancing the armature reactance drop, RS. Okay. So where is the SQ? Let us see. Where is the SQ? This RSQ. This is the SQ. This amount of SQ. Okay. So this is the amount of field current that is needed for the cancellation of the demagnetizing effect. Okay. And what is QS? Let us check what is QS. This SQ for balancing the armature reactance drop. Okay. That is the XL. So that it is neutralized. So like this, these are the three methods by which we can find out the reactance, and if we find out the reactance, from there we can find out the voltage regulation. Okay, so these are the three methods we have discussed. So this is all for today. Thank you.